over the next few videos, we want to start working on our notification page and styling it up and making sure that it starts looking like a proper page for notifications. So let's go ahead and essentially get started with the styling of this page. So inside notification, in this case, blade.php, we want to have a class up here which is a width full, small width 600, height of screen, and for this part of the course, we're actually going to be using Wirepole because I think at the end of the day, one, we could use Reverb here, but people are not as often on notification page. Plus, it's a really good use case for it because there's not always notifications going on, and it works quite efficiently here, I think, for this specific use case. While you could go ahead and use Reverb if you want to, I think there's no need to overcomplicate the project either. So we want to have a small width here of 600, height of screen, and then here we just want to have the notifications title as well. And that's just going to be a H2 element with a text gray 800, dark text gray 100, and we're going to have a font bold, font small. And then below here we will have all our notifications going through. So we could actually go ahead if you want to in this case and pass this inside the div in here instead, because we don't need to listen for refresh here, so we could go ahead and do that. So let's take a look at what the notifications page is looking like now. Let's go ahead and fix the dark mode text here and make sure that we essentially just get rid of that dash there, like that. And now we can go ahead and work on the notification component here. So for this, we want to create using Livewire. We can just go ahead and minimize the screen a bit here. So PHP artisan make Livewire notification, and then this is going to be inside the components folder. Inside notification blade.php, we need to add in a few things as well. So in this one here, we want to essentially either display a tweet, or we want to go ahead and display, if it's not a tweet, we want to go ahead and display something like profile photo URL or other things such as that. Before we go ahead and work on this though, it's essential as well that we send the notification. And the way we can do that is essentially Laravel has its own notification system we can use in this case, because we can just say PHP artisan, and then I think in here we can find ability to set up notifications. So we can just say make notifications table first and foremost. And if we go ahead and say create notifications table, you can see we have a few things in here. We have ID, type, notifiable, data, read at. So let's take a look in here. Inside that, we don't really need to add anything extra in. However, you could go ahead and do that if you wanted to. But for now, we will just go ahead and migrate this. And with that migrated, we can now go ahead and start creating notifications. So let's say PHP artisan make notification, and let's call this follow notification, which will happen when someone follows a user. And for this follow notification, we can go ahead and see where it is located here. So it's located in this notifications folder in here. And inside this follow notification, we need to add in a few different things. So let's go ahead and see what we need. We want to keep it like this, where we extend notifications. it should be queuable, and we want, in this case, to pass through a user. And for this, we want to have this as notifiable by database or broadcast. We don't want this to be an email, so that's not relevant for this part of the application. Instead, what we're going to go ahead and do in here is we're going to have a public function toArray, which is going to contain an array with the notifiable. And in here, we want to just return an array, and we want to have a user ID, this user ID, and then we want to have a message. You have been followed by, in this case, we can say this username. And then we can do the same thing again here for toBroadcast. And this needs to be an object. And then here we just want to have a broadcast message, which will be, in this case, you've been followed by. And that's essentially it. So now we have this follow notification set up. Let's go ahead and clear up our import as well. And then let's go ahead and create one here for the like notification. Now for the like notification, because we're also working with tweets, we need to say protected tweet, and protected user. And then we want to go ahead and here again, pass through something relatively similar here. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to copy and paste this in. So we have the notifiable here. And we have toBroadcast, and in this case, we don't want to call this retweet, we want to call this tweet, sorry. And that's essentially it. So we have a like and a follow notification. We now need the ability to have retweet notification. And for this one, again, is relatively similar as well. So in here, let's make sure we're properly closing the class. I'm going to go ahead and add in all the relevant things in here as well. So again, let's go ahead and add that in. We have a tweet in here, which we call retweet, and then we just pass through the user ID and the retweet and so on. And we get the user ID from the retweet in this case, which is a bit easier in this case. And action is going to be retweet. Now, this won't really make sense yet, but when we get to actually displaying this, it will make a lot more sense, and we can then start taking a look at how we can make notifications look a lot nicer throughout this application.